Look, first of all, why Griff think he really is some type of like producer, cameraman? I'm like, don't get all that, okay? Like, panning up.
Go ahead, tell them what you making.
Today I will be making, look ladies, if you can pull this off, especially my single ladies that really want to be married, because people be lying when they say they don't want a woman. You know, it don't matter if she can cook, they lying. It's a farce. So, but as a Southern woman, one of the first things I ever learned to make is homemade biscuits. When they say people make biscuits from scratch, you know, y'all know I can't really scratch. This will be me making it from scratch.
She really want to say from scratch.
Yes, from scratch.
From scratch.
Okay, things you'll need. I always get a big bowl. You see this bowl? You know, it don't have to be exactly. I'll get you a big enough bowl to where you're going to be able to mix the ingredients around in. Big bowl for your flour. I use buttermilk. The difference between this, if you use usually on a buttermilk container, it's a green. You'll see a green lid on it. And read it. Don't just pick up it because you assume it. Just read it. Because some people have bought regular milk thinking it was. Some people have bought buttermilk thinking it's regular milk. Self-rising flour. It don't have to be White Lily, but I prefer White Lily. It's a lot fluffier. But self-rising flour, make sure it has self-rising on it. Also, I use part regular milk. I use part regular milk and buttermilk. I use a mixture of the two. I use the buttermilk for the flavor, give you that like kind of a more rich flavor. And when I bake, I use the Crisco baking sticks. This is the Crisco one with butter in it, okay? Now, there are basic instructions on the actual bag, but I'm kind of like going off my own thing, so I'll come back to you guys and show you what each part should look like as you're doing it. We'll be back. Okay, a lot of times, you know, when you're trying to learn how to cook things, you'll see recipes and stuff on TV that you really don't get step by what it should look like as you go. Now, what I've done here, I have my flour in the bowl. Also, I have just added my shortening, which I use the Crisco sticks, the butter flavor sticks. What I like to do, this part, y'all, you're going to get your hands dirty for this, so be prepared. I, particularly myself, I like to take it and mix it. Do you see the texture, how it's getting crumbly? That's showing that I'm getting enough of the shortening mix until it has like a crumbly texture to it. You see the texture? You see how it's kind of crumbled? That's actually mixing it up so that you know that the ingredients that you're using are actually getting in there. Okay? Now that you got a nice crumbly, and you've kind of like gotten a shortened and divided throughout the, you know, flour, and you got you a nice little mix of it. You're going to add your milk. I particularly, this is my buttermilk. Like you see a cup full. What I like to do is pour enough in there to where I know it's more than likely when I first start out, it's going to be a little soupy. And I'm okay with that. Hand me that regular milk, honey. Add regular milk to it. I prefer it being soupy to where I can work with it versus it being really stiff and you're getting rock hard biscuits. And the looser it is, the way you can handle it, the fluffier the texture will be of your biscuits at the end. So, you see how I'm just taking my hand. I don't mind them getting all gooey, but I'm just mixing it in there. And for my sake, I'm going to go with a little bit more milk. And then what I'll do is go back in and add flour. I'm only adding the flour so that I can actually handle it to pick it up. I'll even go ahead and squish it up with my hands to make sure it's getting mixed up really, really good. Alright. Next, I'll come back and show you when we get ready to roll it out. When I was saying I needed to be able to handle it. Oh man, did you take that? Okay.
You said you gotta wash your hands.
A lot. Okay, I was saying before I was telling Griff, you probably want to add, once you get it, you see it's kind of loose. The consistency is loose. I don't mind it being loose because you can always add more flour. I add more flour so that I can actually handle it to pick it up and get it actually out of the bowl to where I'm almost can work with it to where I'm getting prepared to actually cut it up into biscuit form. So I particularly like mine fluffy and light. You see how it's loose? That's really considered to be fluffy. Now over here, I use my cutting board to put flour. I've already floured it. So it is gooey, so be prepared to know that your hands are gonna get, but that's the part about it that makes it really cool, I think anyway. All right, gonna wash my hands one more time. And I had already preheated my oven at 500, ladies, or guys, if you want to do this. Make sure you preheat your oven at 500.
500 is a lot.
Yes, that's what it requires.
What about 350?
It'll take all day to cook biscuits. Okay, so I'm going to go back in and get some more flour. And this time, I'm actually using it so it doesn't stick. So I'll go over the top with it. And I just slowly, I would usually have a rolling pin, but my husband hasn't bought me one, so use my hand. And then, if you notice, you want to make it, like, leave the consistency just a little thick. Can you come in and get a close-up of seeing how? I guess it's probably about almost an inch thick. So, you don't want to make it flat. You don't want cookies, you want biscuits. So, you go around like this. And, you know, back in the day,
Do you really need a rolling pin?
I want one. Yeah, I think. Ladies be offended by people. Some women are offended by people buying them things to use in the kitchen. I'm never offended by you making my life in the kitchen easier.
You ain't never asked for a rolling pin.
You just been listening. Now, something funny that everybody be tripping on me because I do love stuff. Now, back in the day, your mama or your grandma would probably use the cup to cut the biscuits with. You can use a cup, and I'll show you what to do. You just gonna take it, wet it. And you find one that you want size. You wet the cup, and all you're doing is going around. Bam. See? Now me, and it's gonna be a little loose to pick up. Sit it on your cookie sheet, whatever you're gonna bake it on. You see? Me in particular, I have a biscuit cutter or a cookie cutter. That's how I like my utensils. So, I'm going to wet it. I'm going to dip it in my flour. And, same thing. Go on somewhere. That's my baby.
I was already pointing to get out.
And, as you can see, cut it, same distance. Place it on your sheet, on your cookie sheet. So, I'll give you guys a picture of it, what it looked like right before I put it in the oven, and then we'll come back when we take it out. Be back. All right, this is what it's gonna look like before it goes in the oven. I know presentation not that great, but it's really me cooking. So I'm in my own kitchen, and this is what you're gonna get, ladies. But wait till they come out. Oh my God, just wait. When they come out, I'm gonna put some butter and some honey on top. Y'all won't be ready. You really only gotta cook them for about no more than 10 minutes. Seriously, I usually do about, it's according to the consistency of the color that you want. I use my timer. I do about 8 to 9. See you in 9 to 10 minutes.
How you just gonna hit me?
Just like I said, guys. Then you want to take your little butter see. Get your butter knife, or you can take the stick, do it how you want to do it. And I just go across them, rub them. See that little golden? You got your little. Because it's gonna look kind of chalky with the flour and stuff, so take your butter and go across it. You don't need that much. You don't want to Paula Deen yourself, but
Damn.
I understand. I like her too. I love Paula Deen, so I don't wanna, then I want to get sued.
For what?
Using her name or something, you know. It's all about the money, dog. Alright, coolest part. Take you some honey. At first I thought my husband didn't like honey on it, but I guess he do after the kids start saying, oh, it tastes like honey, it's really good. Then he started, I like honey on mine, so, okay. All you do, you just want to run across them. Drizzle, 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 drizzle. There you go, your homemade biscuits. I'm going to plate them and let you get the final picture. Be right back. And that's your final product right there. Homemade biscuits. Let me show you at the inside that when I said I like my texture fluffy. See? If you make like use the ingredients and have it all stiff when you're mixing it, they're going to be real rock-like and not too good. But let me see. Honey, you tell me what it tastes like. You didn't have to stick all that in your mouth.
Perfect.
Alright. See you guys next week. Thanks.
Who gonna eat the other half?
You can have it.
A drizzle prizzle.